James Danker, retail was never supposed to have real actual data. The system was and always has been rigged against them. I mean, yeah, that's one of the things we need to change. And I'm looking into how to do that because if I had received a nice windfall from MMTLP, I was planning on I was going to go to like DC for 2 weeks and just knock on doors of members of Congress and see if I can get them behind what I'd like to call the Retail Investor Protection Act, RIPA, RIPA. And I need to work with somebody who has experience writing legislation, but basically write a piece of legislation that evens the playing field, that actually makes it so that broker dealers, the hedge funds, the institutions don't have an unfair advantage over the rest of the retail trading market. And this would include things like no payment for order flow, no dark pools, no no naked shorting at all. Period. If there's an FTD that's issued, you get punished for it immediately. No debt swaps, so you can't erase these positions by just doing an infinite number of debt swaps as they pass all this stuff around. Removing the ability of market makers to naked short, to just generate liquidity out of nothing. Move it instead, like, hey, maybe the market makers, if these shares really need to get trading to have liquidity in the market, perhaps we ask the company to issue more shares so that the money generated goes to the company for issuing more shares and not some rando who happens to have market maker superpowers. Eliminating high frequency trading so that you can't pass a share back and forth a million times to manipulate stock. Things like that we can do that can even the playing field, because you and I, we don't have the ability to fire the same stock back and forth. We don't get our data a millisecond before everyone else, and our supercomputers can calculate exactly how to gain that arbitrage. That type of stuff is phony baloney, not helping anybody except the few dorks who are at some giant trading firm. They're like, hey, I just bounced this share of stock back and forth a million times with me and this hedge fund, and we gained ourselves $1 million in arbitrage by doing it, by passing it through 5 different markets. I can't do that. You can't do that. I don't have the money to invest to be able to build that system to do that. It's an unfair advantage for them to be able to do that and then affect the price of my stock as a result of those cascading trades that they do. So because I don't yet have the personal financial wealth to go spend 2 weeks knocking on doors at DC, I have to look at other ways to do it. And I might try to create a nonprofit, like, I don't know, the Retail Investors Association or something. So I have to look at what type of board I'd need to do that, and if we'd be able to create like a lobbying arm or something. But do like $40 a year membership or something to the Retail Investor Agency or Association or whatever you want to call it, and then basically just take all of that and use it to go lobby Congress to pass something that helps us out as retail investors, so that we don't have these billionaire hedge funds just sticking in our ass all the time. And they won't be able to have FINRA and the DTC and everyone else screwing us over, because there'll be federal law stopping them from doing that. I mean, when shorts started attacking financial institutions in 2009, because all the short financial institutions were crashing, because that's what happens in a massive recession. And they're like, hey, we're going to short Goldman, we're going to short Bank of America, we're going to short everybody. It's going to be amazing. We're naked short the hell out of them. They actually passed a specific law saying you're not allowed to short institutions, financial institutions, because they basically turned on the hand that feeds them. But why are financial institutions exempt from being shorted? I mean, Credit Suisse is dying. The Swiss National Bank has lost $148 billion trying to keep Credit Suisse alive. And why can't you short them? I mean, they suck. Why shouldn't you be able to short them? If the whole point of shorting is to be able to like take on companies that suck and make a profit off of it as a way of managing the market, then we should be able to short the hell out of these guys. But they lobbied and they got their own special dispensation. So if we can form a group of the millions of retail investors across the country and create an overwhelming power that can sway his election. We can play their game, and we can go to Congress and say, okay, Congressman, you're going to help us get this bill passed. And if you don't, we got a super PAC behind us, and we're going to drop $1 million on dark money ads that are going to blow your shit out of the water. Or we could drop $1 million on dark money ads. They're going to help you. So pick one there, Congressman. We can play their game. And yeah, that's. I think, you know, if anyone wants to help me do something like that, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it in the old Reddit and see if we can get something organized, because we need to start fighting fire with fire and hitting them where it hurts, which is, you know, the people who write the laws. So